My name is Carly. My business is Stuck on Michigan. I started in 2015. I just graduated high school. I had been taking graphic design classes at the tech center while I was in high school. I was helping out my teacher, and they had a sticker machine that they just got, which was super exciting at the time. And we were just testing it out, and I started making some stickers for myself, ones that I would want to use and put on my car. They were all Michigan themed, and I posted some of those stickers on social media, and a lot of my friends and some people I knew were like, oh, I'd love to buy one of those. So I decided to open up an Etsy shop, and it was pretty easy to get started on Etsy. I just had to pay 50 cents per listing. So this is actually the first sticker I ever designed. I haven't changed it since 2015. This is the one I originally sold to all my friends. Obviously better quality now, but yeah, during that time I wasn't really advertising very much. It was kind of just something I had on Etsy, and if someone bought it, it was great. So I was only making $5 a week, maybe even $5 a month, but I guess that was enough for me to buy coffee. So during the time it was great, but yeah, I've obviously invested in a ton of other products, so hats, sweaters, candles, and yeah, the business has definitely grown since that first original sticker.
And then how much did you need to invest to get started?
It was pretty affordable since the sticker machine was kind of already there. I think my teacher gave me the stickers at a discount, so I can't remember exactly how much the stickers costed, but they were fairly cheap. And then yeah, starting the Etsy was free, but I think it was 20 cents per listing, and then there were fees associated to anytime you sold anything. So that was the startup cost then. I did a lot of pre-ordering too, so I didn't have to invest in buying inventory before. I did stickers for quite a while. That's why it's called Stuck on Michigan. It was kind of a pun. And then I kind of was doing the stickers just slowly for a while. Just after college, started getting really busy, and then I was transitioning to a full-time job. I closed the shop down, but then when COVID started in 2020, I was working from home and I had a ton of free time since we couldn't do anything. So I decided to look into revamping Stuck on Michigan, but I wanted to try something different and look at all different products that I could use. So I'd say 2020 is when the patch was kind of created, and that kind of took things off. And I started doing hats, started doing t-shirts, sweaters. I do candles, magnets. There's a ton of stuff. There's a pretty big list of items, and I'm continuing to find new things to create. I feel candle making, I wasn't fully prepared to the extent of how much work it actually is. There's a lot of nuance in it, how hot you have to heat the wax to, and then you take it off of the stove, and then you have to let it cool to a certain temperature. You have to pour the fragrance in at a certain temperature, and then you have to actually pour the wax into the container at a certain temperature. So you have to be very mindful when you're making them. You can't get distracted. So yeah, I'd say candles are very temperamental, but super fun to make. So I feel I invested in candles probably about 2 years ago. I actually used to design for Yankee Candle, fun fact, and I had heard some people being I just really want just a plain coffee scented candle, and I heard that a lot while working there, and I feel they always just had coffee mixed with vanilla or really sweet scents. So I was what, I want to start making candles and doing scents that I would want to buy. So I designed the labels, have a fun pattern on the top, and then the label. So I think I have 10 different scents right now. But I purchased all of the supplies online from professional candle making supply companies, and then I hand pour them, hand mix them, test them, all of that. So candles have been kind of more of just a passion project for me, just because I love using them, and I want candles that aren't super toxic. I know paraffin wax is not super great, so I only use 100% soy. So I sell them for $15 right now. and I think soy burns really slow. That's one of the benefits of it. So this one candle will probably burn for about 50 hours. So I have banners. I have 2 different designs. I actually went through a company called Oxford Pennant. I've been following them on Instagram for a while, and they make the coolest pennants. And I found out they did custom ones, so I was super excited, and I got a couple of my own made, which have been great. So I have obviously stickers and magnets. I do individually package them for retail stores. So stickers, and then magnets, which look just almost the same, but just has magnet at the top. I feel like magnets have been newer for me, and they sell, I'd say, just as well as stickers do. And then clay pins. These are very, very tedious, and they take a lot of time to make, but they're so stinking cute. I do a ton of different designs. They're all made from polymer clay. So I cut them, I paint them individually, and then add a pin to the back. And I'd say the worst part about making these is actually using the resin. So you have to cover these in resin and then put it under a UV lamp, and it will harden it, and it makes them very shiny, which I can show you the final piece. But these are halfway done. T-shirts. I have, right now I only have sizes small through extra large, although I am looking to expand into larger sizes. It's just I don't have a ton of room, but I have them kind of organized by size. So I have small, medium, large, extra large. I think I have 5 different t-shirt designs, which I can show you. I'd say this is the most popular t-shirt that I have. It just has like a Michigan, a camping on the back, and then just a small one in the corner. So I like to have a lot of my t-shirts with the designs on the back. Again, I kind of just try to design things that I would wear, and I personally like things on the back of my shirts. Bucket hats have been kind of newer for me. I know bucket hats have blown up in the past couple years, so right now for like the fall and winter I have these corduroy ones. So I have these in 4 different colors, and then in the summer I do more of like they're cotton and they're like pigmented wash. So those are pretty big sellers during the summer as well. Beanies are definitely my most popular winter and fall items. I do sell a lot of them wholesale. So I have these in, I think, 5 different colors, and I just got some like waffle ones, which I'm really excited about. They're currently in the process of getting patches sewn on them, so I don't have them with me. But beanies have been great sellers, and I love wearing them too. Baseball hats, not great sellers in like the winter months, but they do really well in the summer, and I have a bunch of different colors. I just love that this patch is so universal. It can kind of really go on anything. And yeah, it's kind of like I've turned the patch into like my branding. So kind of cool. This past year, I invested in trying some hoodies. And I will say, like, I thought hoodies would do really well, but they actually were something that I feel like didn't do as well as I thought they would. So I think it's been definitely a learning curve to seeing like, what do people like? What do they buy? And a lot of times you kind of taking a gamble. They still sell, but just not as quick as oh, that's a crew neck. They still sell, but not, I guess, to the extent of what I was expecting. So this is the back of the hoodie, and then it has that same like Michigan design on the front. This is the like final version of the clay pins, so you can just see they're kind of like shiny. That just protects them and makes sure that the clay won't actually break. Since people will put these on like backpacks, you want them to be able to withstand anything.
How do you get people to come to your Etsy page?
So on Etsy you can do, you can like pay for advertising. So you can choose how much you want to pay per day. So for a while, I think I was paying like $1 a day for advertising. And how that worked is if someone searched like anything Michigan related, your products would be brought to the top of the page and it would say like ad underneath of it. So I did that for probably about a year, and I feel like it did bring a lot of more like natural traffic than what I was generating from my social media. So I've been trying to grow my social media. So I hired part-time social media manager. So she helps create content. She plans all the posts out for me. So we post like every other day. I've done a couple like influencers where I just sent them free product and they take some photos and I use those photos to use on social media. I've also done like some paid ads on Instagram too, which those haven't been, I guess, as successful as I thought they'd be, but yeah.
Is there any other social medias that you use other than Instagram?
Facebook, which I don't use a ton. I use the like Facebook Business where you can like link your products to Instagram, which is pretty nice so people can like directly shop from Instagram.
Can you talk about like your day-to-day operations and what you're doing?
So I do work a full-time job, but I guess like after work I'm able to do like fulfilling orders. So I do get orders from a couple different places. So Etsy is one of them. I have my own website that I use Square for. So I get orders from that. And then I also do a lot of wholesale. And I use a website called Fair to do those wholesale orders. So I'm usually looking at the orders that I have for the day, fulfilling them. I guess each day is kind of different. I'd say this past year, 2022, is when I really started focusing on wholesale. That was something that it took me a while to kind of get to this point. There's a lot of prep to get into wholesale, but I'd say the biggest thing is like building up your inventory. So I'd say I'm in probably about 90 resale shops around Michigan, which is really cool. I think before this year I was in 25. On Etsy, I'll go to my shop manager, I'll look at orders and shipping. So right now I just have one order. I'll click into it, see what they purchased. So they just purchased one sticker. So I kind of have like this little station right here, which is really great for shipping out orders. But all of my stickers I ship out in a just in an envelope with a forever stamp. It's definitely the cheapest and most efficient way to ship a sticker. Although for like my packages where I ship apparel, I use like shipping labels that I print. I actually handwrite out every sticker that I ship, which is a little time consuming, but I think it makes it feel a bit more special and like it's coming from a small business. So I'll write down their address. I also have mailing cards that I like to ship out with every sticker. Just a little fun thing. And I add like a little personal note that just thanks them for purchasing from a small business, and asking them if they love it, they can share it on social media and tag us. And then just making sure you add your social media to it and the website if they want to shop again. I found that these have been like a small investment to do, but they've been so convenient. Mailing labels, very important. You definitely do not want to have to write out your address every single time. And then all of my stickers are kind of like in this tray here. So I'll just pull whichever one they purchase, and then I will put it in with the envelope and ship it out. That process is pretty easy, besides having to like write their address out on it every single time. But that's the process for stickers. It's a little bit different for apparel. I'll actually use mailing bags. I kind of just have one mailing size, and if they don't fit in this, I have boxes that I'll ship in. So everything, I'd say shipping costs is going to be determined mostly by weight. So you want to make sure you see how much it's going to cost to ship your items, and then you'll want to either add that price within the product or actually charge it separately from the product when someone buys it. So stickers, I'd say, are pretty affordable to get produced. I've gone through a couple different vendors to try to find like the best price and also the best quality. So I actually found one I really like recently that I'm going to continue going with. But I'd say like price is anywhere between like probably like 50 cents to $1. I usually sell them at $6 or 2 for $5. But there are a lot of other factors that going into obviously selling it, like these cards, the envelopes, your time, and then since I do sell them wholesale, you also have to think about at wholesale you usually have to sell things half the price to the retailer. So I sell my stickers for $3 to wholesalers. So also have to factor in that as well.
Do you have any other streams of revenue, like wholesale, Etsy, your website?
So I'd say the other one would be craft shows. So that was something when I first started Stuck in Michigan. I always wanted to do, but you need quite a bit of, you need a variety of products. And in the beginning, I just had stickers, so it was kind of hard for me to do. But as I've built up more products, I started doing craft shows, I think in 2021. And it was great. It helped me meet a lot of people, helped me meet a lot of other small businesses that gave a lot of good advice. And then, yeah, it's a great way to meet like people in the community and travel to like different cities, and so other people can find me.
Can you talk about like the revenue differences between Etsy and wholesaling?
Surprisingly, my online sales like aren't as busy, or I'd say like the main source of revenue that I've found is in craft shows and wholesaling. But again, it kind of takes you a while to get there. Yeah, online shopping is kind of tricky for me. I feel like I have better luck with people seeing my things in person and then wanting to buy them then. With online, I think it can be kind of tricky. They're comparing your stuff to a lot of other makers, and maybe they get distracted and I don't know. But yeah, I've found that some of the other like craft shows, wholesaling has been better than online shopping for me. For these crew necks, it's the same one that I'm wearing right now. I have it in 3 different colors, but this is definitely my best seller. It's very lightweight, so you can wear it in the summer, and then you can also wear it in the winter with layers. So yeah, people really love these. They're super cozy. I love it. I wear all 3 of the colors myself. I sell them at craft shows for $35, and then I sell them I think for like $42 online, just to include shipping, since shipping was definitely a cost that I wasn't initially like thinking about, but shipping is very expensive and it adds up. But how many crew necks have I sold? Probably over 1,000. I do not know, actually definitely over 1,000. Probably about like 2,000, 1,500. I don't know, a lot. Constantly just like cranking these ones out. Yeah, I'm like constantly getting patches sewn on these. They're very popular, and I also do them in wholesale, which have been great too. All the colors sell pretty much the same. I'd say the hats are, I guess, kind of unique. Like the crew necks, the colors all sell, I'd say, about the same. Maybe the green a little bit more popular than the blue and yellow, but I'd say for the most part, like I'm continuously restocking all of the colors. But for the hats, I feel like, yeah, it's kind of a wild card. Like I think people, they like, obviously other people own many baseball hats, so they're like, I just want to get a color that I don't already have. So it's kind of like random, I'd say. I'd say for the hats, maybe the green and the blue are the best sellers, and then for the beanies, it's like the caramel color. But yeah, I'd say like when I'm buying colors, I like to buy samples so I can see them in person, make sure like the color looks, because from the website and then in person, colors do look a lot different. So I'd always say buy samples and look at them in person. But I'd say I usually have a pretty good idea of what color they'll like the most. And then you'll kind of see that as well at craft shows. You'll kind of hear people talking about the colors and seeing what they're saying. So you'll get an idea of like what people think about things. And then based on that, like I kind of phase things out if I know they're not selling well. So like this pink color, I wouldn't say is like the most popular color. So then maybe I'll phase that out and introduce like a new color. But yeah, I'd say it's a lot of you're gambling on a lot of stuff, especially if you're buying in bulk and trying to have a lot of extra inventory.
And then what are some expenses that come along with running a Etsy shop?
So there are quite a bit of fees, which I didn't actually realize that in the very beginning. I feel like they have kind of a good way of like hiding all the fees they take from you, but there's fees when you list it. Again, I think it's only like 20 cents, but once you sell something, they do take, I don't know the exact percentage, but I know it's kind of like increasing each year. And so they take a percentage of the sale, and then I think they also take the percentage of the shipping that you charge. I think those are really the only set fees. They don't charge like monthly or anything, unless you decide to do like the paid advertising.
What's some of the positives to running like your business, and what are some of the negatives?
Some of the positives, I think like all the people that I've gotten to meet, and it does feel like really rewarding, like having my art and seeing people wear it. Like it's crazy. I'll be like out in the wild and I'll see someone wearing a beanie or a baseball hat, and it's super cool. Or I'll have like my friends like send me photos of they're like, look, I found this person like wearing your stuff, and so it's like really cool to see that. I'd say some of the cons is like the amount of time that it takes. I'm spending like lots of nights working late, and weekends doing the craft shows, so it is a lot of time, but I think like it's something I obviously enjoy, so that's not a problem for me. I'd say like the amount of like the business side, like I didn't have a ton of information on like taxes and setting up a business, and that's all been a very like big learning curve for me, since like originally I was like, I just want to like design stuff and sell them to people, but there's a lot more that goes into it with running a business, so I've definitely had people help with that, since I cannot do it all on my own. I have a friend who helps me run craft shows when I can't make them. I have a bookkeeper who's been great. I have someone who helps with taxes, obviously. My mom will come and help me with stuff too, like doing the hang tags and the small tedious things that you would think like don't take a ton of time but actually take up a lot of time. I have someone who helps. I have a sewer who helps me sew a lot of like the patches on.
How do you plan on expanding or growing?
So continuing to find like new product and creating new things, creating new designs, and then I do want to continue doing wholesale, and continuing to build up my social media, and yeah, I guess just like continuing on the same path that I am, and seeing how it goes.
Do you ever plan on going full time?
It's funny, my husband asks me like all the time, like, what is your plan? What are you gonna do? And I think that the idea of that is really scary to me. I really enjoy my full-time job. I am a UX UI designer, so it's kind of nice that I have like that side of things, and then I have this like creative outlet as well. So I don't know. I'd say I'm gonna continue doing what I'm doing now for as long as I can, and then we'll see what happens. But I don't think I want to do it full time.
How much you've invested, like in equipment?
A lot. Yeah, it's been very expensive. I tried to build up inventory in the beginning of the year, so around this time. So I'm putting a lot of money in it in the beginning of the year, trying to stock all my products up, and then the machines. Like I pay to get some things professionally produced, but like the sublimation stuff I just paid for, and yeah, I'd say like I spend more in buying the product up front than I do on like the actual machines, since I'm getting a lot of it outsourced. But material is definitely the biggest expense for me.
And do you have 3 tips of advice for someone creating their own business?
Yeah, I'd say just finding something like unique and fun and creative that like you enjoy doing, and yeah, just opening up the Etsy shop. I'd say that's the first step, and it's really easy to get started on it, and really, like I said, you only pay fees when someone purchases something, so it's low risk, I guess. Advice 2, I'd say, I guess, like, don't get discouraged if you launch something and it doesn't sell right away. I think like there have been things that like I thought would do really well for me, and I've launched them and I just didn't get a lot of traction or a lot of people interested in them. But I think like you'll be surprised with some of the things that people do end up like becoming obsessed with. An example is like the Pizza Ranch sticker. I kind of launched it as a joke, and then it blew up and everyone's like obsessed with it, which is great. And then make sure that you have the time to invest in it and that you enjoy it, just because it is a lot of your own time that you're putting into it, so just make sure you enjoy what you're doing.